Happy New Year, everyone. Before we even begin, I feel like we're in a different space. We need to catch up. It has been so long. First things first, this is Mabel. I am currently not in our usual setting. I am currently actually at Jake's parents' house. I've just dropped Jake off to the pub with a friend and I am on dog sitting duty for the evening. So I have lit myself a fire. I have made myself a cup of tea. I've also ordered myself some dinner. Oh, that is lovely. And yeah, I am really sat down for a very, very cozy evening and I just thought that we could hang out and I could check in with you. And as I said, Mabel is here to apparently hang out with us as well. So yeah, I honestly feel like I have so much to catch up with you guys with because I haven't really been on here since I guess like halfway through December. I did post a video last week which was just kind of what was going on Soul recently, but I haven't been with you guys. So Happy New Year. I hope you had the most beautiful or peaceful or whatever it might be. I hope you had a good festive season. If you didn't, don't worry, it's a new year and it's a new start. I'd really love to know how you guys are feeling about the New Year's. I know for a lot of people it's just another day and I also think that's a really great attitude to have around it, but I also know for others it can symbolize quite a lot. I feel like for me this new year I'm just quite happy to have a fresh start and be starting new. So yeah, camera cut me off there, which is not the best of starts, but I thought we could sit down, as I mentioned, and have a big old catch up. But also something I really wanted to speak about is something that I've actually written about on my email list. I have chatted about this on the Soul blog. I am planning on making a meditation all around this on the Soul platform as part of our January rebirth. We're doing a really gentle, soft, like wintry rebirth healing month on Soul Shadow. I told you I have so much to tell you about, but what I've been really, I guess, like musing over is this concept of the feminine art of wintering and just this concept of winter. This is actually one of the first winters I'm spending in England fully without traveling. I usually do travel during the winter, but this year it just felt really right to not and really like bunker down for a very English winter. And as I said, what better place to chat all things the feminine art of wintering than in what feels like a complete dream winter setup with the fire here, which is honestly keeping me so warm. I'm in a very cozy jumper. I've got my PJs on and I just thought we could have nice long natters. So if anyone is new here, I feel like this is maybe not the video you would click on, but maybe it is. My name is Amara. I am a yoga teacher, but I also do a lot of work with rooted feminine healing, and I have my own online soul studio where we do all things feminine energy and feminine healing, as I said, and of course a lot of yoga as well. And that is kind of what has inspired this idea. And I feel like one of my biggest takeaways from 2024 and one of like the biggest lessons that I learned that I haven't spoken a whole lot about on here or really anywhere very much is how important it is to embrace an element of darkness. I feel like 2024, and you know, it might not be finished, it may still be coming in 2025, but I feel like during 2024 I had a real journey of like learning through the darkness and learning through the shadows. And the only way I can describe this journey, and this is very niche so people might not understand what I mean here, but if anyone knows anything about Greek mythology, they talk about the goddess Persephone, and Persephone takes this journey to the underworld and she sort of balances the two worlds. And I feel like that was really my journey in 2024, is kind of really growing and learning and beginning to embrace the darkness a little bit more. And that is something that I've definitely resisted like up until this stage, or up until that stage of my spiritual journey, is I definitely felt very fearful of sort of the darker side of things, the depth of things. And I think the biggest thing it taught me is that without darkness there's no contrast, there's no light and dark. Without the light of the fire and the darkness around it, you wouldn't see the beauty that is life. And I feel like I realized that darkness creates depth in 2024, and that is honestly like has been such a transformative lesson in and of itself. It's actually something that I spoke about at length with my therapist, and we had some really good conversations about that because it just opened up an entire world, and it got me thinking about how darkness relates to the feminine. If we look at the qualities of the masculine and the feminine, while the light is masculine, the fire, the sun is masculine, the darkness, the depth, the moon is feminine. And this opened up like an entire, I guess, topic that I hadn't really considered. And I thought that we could sit down and chat a little bit about it, and I could just talk to you about my musings on feminine energy and the darkness and how that relates to winter, because winter and autumn are the season of the feminine. They hold the very feminine qualities of slowness, stillness, this cold, this depth, this coming inwards, this very introverted energy, and that is the feminine. And I recently heard someone say that our society today has a real fear of winter, of darkness, and ultimately that fear is of the feminine because that is everything that she stands for. And during the winter, I hear so many topics of can't wait for winter to be over, winter's the worst, I feel so depressed in winter, like I feel like I need to keep pushing in January. And it really got me thinking about, actually there is a hidden art to winter. The reason that we feel or can feel so at odds with winter and we get those sort of winter blues are when we're fighting against her energy, when we are trying to push for the level that we are at in the summer during winter, and we're ultimately then going to be out of balance and out of alignment because we are not creatures living on Earth. We are Earth in itself. We are a part of Mother Earth and Mother Nature, and if we don't accept that, we are always going to feel a little bit out of alignment with ourselves. And that is what really got me onto this topic, I guess, of the feminine art of wintering and what it means to really embrace winter and allow it to be one of our really potent practices of feminine energy. This fire behind me is honestly roaring, it's making my back so lovely and warm because, yeah, so with that in mind, I thought I could just come and chat. I know I did a video about this last year of like how to embrace your feminine energy in winter. This is like how to embrace your feminine energy in winter, take two, slightly more mature and deeper version. I love that. I actually really, really love that. A year later, over a year later, we can see the growth, we can see the depth. So yeah, let's chat all things embracing the feminine art of wintering. So first things first, the first thing I would really, really suggest, the first tip of embracing winter and mastering the art of wintering is slowing down. You knew it was coming. Winter is a season of stillness, of slowness. It's a season of coming inwards, because if we think about what's going on in Mother Nature, whilst on the surface everything is still and almost frozen in time, underneath the surface the seeds have been planted and they're taking roots and they're beginning to really find their place in the world. And that is what we should be doing in this time. It is a time to slow down, to sit with our energy and take this time to come inwards and think about what seeds are beginning to take root within our soul. And I cannot stress enough how important that is. And I really feel like the minute you allow yourself permission to slow down, the better you are going to feel in winter. Winter is a season of rejuvenation. And I think that brings me on to this next tip of, you are not a robot. You are not meant to keep going all year round like you do in the summer. The summer, we're waking up early, we have really fiery routines. That is the season of the masculine. Summer is yang season. We are in yin season. That asks for the opposite of the summer. We need longer lay-ins, we need more sleep, we need more rest. And in order for us to be able to show up in the spring and the summer as the best version of ourselves and feeling really rejuvenated and ready to truly rebirth, if we do not take the time in winter to shed and allow ourselves to let go of old ways of being, I feel like that's really more autumn. But winter is the time of deep healing and letting go and rest to prepare us for what is to come. And if we don't take this, we are going to cause this feeling of burnout. And it's not, especially for women, this is not a feeling of burnout that is the same as like a physical burnout. It's like a weathering of our soul. It's a feeling of almost unfulfillment, of like deep tiredness in our bones, because we're not allowing ourselves to sink into our true nature, which is these deeply feminine seasons. We're not making friends with her. We're resisting them, and through resisting winter, we're resisting ourselves, we're resisting our femininity, and that is a huge one. And that really brings me on to what I feel like I always get into in these videos about feminine energy, which is we live in a very masculine society. We live in a very patriarchal society, as we all know for sure. And as a result, this society is always going to favor the masculine. It's going to favor the keep going. It's going to favor the January, new year, new me. It's going to favor this constant productivity, this need to push, push, push. And as a result, it is afraid of the winter. It is afraid of stillness, of rest, because it does not serve, firstly, this capitalist society, but we won't go on to that, but it doesn't serve the masculine. The masculine is fearful of it, and maybe not the healthy masculine, but the masculine that we feel ourselves living among within our current world is afraid of this, because if everyone felt like they could rest, what do we hold over them, you know? So that is something that is truly, truly a big thing with this. So with that being said, one of your biggest acts of resistance when it comes to feminine resistance, when it comes to, if you can hear the little doggies next to me, when it comes to resistance, when it comes to this feminine resistance, as I said, is embracing winter. That is one of the, again, in a way, it's not a harsh act of resistance. It's in a world that tells me I need to do more, I'm gonna believe that actually I'm allowed to do less in winter, and that is a truly big, big, big thing, and it's not a small thing to embrace. So with that being said, those are just some of the reasons I guess I've been thinking about around the art of wintering and why it is so important that we embrace winter. But I must admit, I'm getting a little bit too toasty sat so close to the fire. So I thought, instead of chatting you through ways in which you could embrace winter more, we could spend this wintry evening together and I could show you some of my favorite things to do when it is winter, and I'll chat you through some other things that maybe I don't get to this evening. But first things first is lots of warm cups of tea, which I have here. But the first thing that I really feel that winter creates so much time and space for is this reflection and this time to really tune into our own energy, our own being and psyche, and take the time to maybe explore shadow work, explore deep healing. On this particular evening, I was spending some conscious time really reflecting on the year that has passed and what it is I wanted to let go of and what it is I wanted to take into a new year. And it's so beautiful that the darkness of winter creates lots of opportunity for this, which we, if we are resisting that, sometimes might not find the time to do so and really take the time to explore within, because it does take time. And I share some of my favourite journal prompts for this season of winter within the blog post on the Soul Shadow blog that I wrote all around this particular topic. The next little tip I have for this feminine art of wintering is truly taking the time to find stillness and do almost nothing. And this could be being creative, this could be reading, it could be just lounging, to be honest, but taking this time to really do nothing productive and become comfortable in what I would call your more yin energy. Your being energy is such a vital part of these winter months. One of the most simple ways of connecting to your feminine energy at all times of the year, but especially within the months of winter when we can sometimes feel resistant towards it, is spending time in nature. She's called Mother Nature for a reason. There is so much of us that is held within her, and spending this time in nature is such a beautiful way of firstly regulating the nervous system, but it also helps to sink us into the rhythms and the seasons and remind us of how it is we are meant to live when we want to live in alignment with the earth that we are not just living on, but very much a part of and made up of. So much of these winter months are spent within the spaces of our homes, which I know for many can be met with a little bit of resistance, but this home space is such a space of nourishment, and it can really be a way of recharging your energy when you fill it with intention and fill it with things that make you feel comforted and safe. And a large proportion of this as well is the foods that we consume. Taking time during the months of winter to be eating seasonally and to be creating warming and nourishing foods is such an important part of the feminine. There's a real need for the body to find this warm nourishment. And many traditional practices, such as Chinese traditional medicine, hold this warmth from both the inside and out as a key cornerstone to women's wellness. It will come as a shock to no one that I truly do believe the way in which we move our bodies can have a profound impact on how we feel on a day-to-day basis, and really syncing your practices with the seasons in nature and also your inner cycles can really help you to feel more in alignment and more in balance and more connected to your deep feminine essence. And during the winter, I really feel that these gentle yet warming and nourishing practices can be so unbelievably healing to our nervous systems. And this particular class was a gentle, graceful winter warming sculpt that I shared on the Soul Shadow as part of our soft rebirth in January and throughout winter. But I really just feel like moving your body in alignment with the seasons can be so unbelievably healing and grounding. Not to mention that it also taps into so many of the cornerstones of what it means to live more slowly and this concept of slow living. And my final tip for really mastering this feminine art of wintering within the winter months is using the stillness that it provides to take the time to connect to your intuition and develop your spiritual practices. Maybe it's through a yoga practice, a meditation practice, sound healing. It could be through an oracle or tarot practice or connecting to crystals. But it's said that autumn and winter are the seasons for the divine feminine and spaces in which she thrives. So using this season to deepen those feminine arts and gifts can be such a beautiful way to honor winter. Now, with that being said, that is everything from me on this feminine art of wintering video. I really hope that this maybe changed your perspective on the season of winter and gave you some ideas on how you can really prioritize your feminine energy this winter. If you are wanting to start the new year in a slightly softer, more gentle way that's more in alignment with your deep feminine essence, we are doing all of those things over on the Soul Shadow, so I always do link it down below. But if you do want to join us and have a look and maybe try our 7-day free trial, you are more than welcome to. But otherwise, I will see you in our next video. Bye guys.